Hi everybody, Liza Donnelly here. I'm in the Berkshires in Massachusetts and I'm at Norman Rockwell's studio. It's thrilling to be here. This is his studio. It's a beautiful building and I'll go inside and show you some things. How is everybody? It's 5 o'clock, time to draw. Let's turn this around. 5 o'clock, time to draw. Hi Amy, hi Gabrielle, hi Laura. It is beautiful here. It is beautiful. I don't know why I'm not here more often, but I am because I have a show here right now. Let's go inside. I feel like Mr. Rogers. Let's go inside, shall we? And there are museum folks here. There they are. Some of the people that work at the museum, chief curator and many other staff. So this is his studio. That's where Norman Rockwell used to do his painting for many years. I think he built this studio in the early 60s. Stephanie will correct me if I'm wrong. But before that, he lived in Vermont. I forget when he moved to Stockbridge, but he lived in Vermont before that. So he had a studio there as well. Anyway, hi Holly, hi John, Teresa, hi Marin. Good to see you guys. I'm just so thrilled to be here. It's an incredible honor.
Liza, we are thrilled to have you.
Oh.
I'd just love to let our audience know,
Mm-hmm.
who's watching on Zoom and on YouTube, that you will be drawing in Rockwell Studio for the next 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And then at about 5:15, we are going to have a great conversation, and we welcome everybody's questions.
Mm-hmm.
So please send them in with the chats,
Mm-hmm.
and we will look forward to addressing anything that you want to talk about.
Great, thank you, Stephanie, chief curator. Yeah, so if you want to be a part of the Zoom, go to normanrockwellmuseum.org.
NRM.org.
Sorry?
NRM.
NRM.org, and you can log in, and it starts at 5:30. Is that right?
No, we're still.
Oh, we're now live. Okay, right. There were so many details to this. I'm just catching up. Anyway, so look at this. The Princess phone. It just gives you an idea of when he was here. He died in 1978, so he painted until he died. Apparently he had a Coke every afternoon. I would invite people who visited to have a Coke as well. There are his paints. So I'm wondering if many of you know Norman Rockwell's work. Some of you are from abroad, so you may not be as familiar as those of us from the States are. Look at these brushes. But he was an illustrator for the Saturday Evening Post, which was a very, very popular magazine in the early part of last century and into the middle of the last century as well. And he did covers for them. You can look his work up online. You can read books about him. These are some of his letters. He would get fan mail all the time, and he'd answer them all. But his work was iconic, and it would be about Americana and slice of life. Like I've read about his approach, and it was about looking at the details in life, those small moments that we might forget about. And many of his covers were humorous. And from what I understand, his covers, he drew them. They were his own ideas. So he would call them illustrations. They were often his own ideas, and they were very much like cartoons, I think, because they were. Look at this beautiful painting. This is a replica of one of his famous paintings. But many of his paintings had humor, but they also had a bit of dark or seriousness to them as well. So and I can relate with that. So let me sit down and I'll do a sketch for you on my iPad. See who's here. Hi, Brian. Good to see you. Susan, Dawn, hi. Hester. Pisces, good to see you. Yeah, it's so awesome to be here. Let me turn this around. There's me. Hi. Now I want to turn it back around. I'm a little turned around because this is not my studio and it's not the same routine, but I'm envious. This is a beautiful studio. I have a beautiful studio, but this is really, I love these windows. So.
Sorry.
That's okay. it's a little intimidating to be here. I grew up, and of course knew about Rockwell when I was a kid. I grew up in Washington, D.C., as many of you know. And his work was, everybody knew Norman Rockwell's work. Even though we didn't get the Saturday Evening Post, we got the New Yorker. You just knew about him. He was an American institution, and I was familiar with some of his paintings. And the ones I was not as familiar with, that I now am very familiar with, were his civil rights paintings that he did. After he left the Saturday Evening Post, he worked for Look magazine. And there was more freedom for him to do to draw about some of the issues that he was concerned about, social justice issues. So he did some really powerful paintings about civil rights. One called Murder in Mississippi, which you should look up. There's a whole Wikipedia page about it. I'm just going to sort of fake it on these legs. And let's just be quiet for a minute. I love this chair. Don't quite have it right, but I've got the gist of it. And then this palette. You can also go online, particularly if you go to the Norman Rockwell Museum website, and see video of him talking in his studio and painting in his studio. He would work on these paintings for days, if not weeks. Some of them, from what I've read, there's a nice biography, there's an autobiography about him that I just finished reading. He wrote with his son, or his son wrote it, but he worked with him on it. I'm not really getting this right. This great little palette with his colors. And I didn't draw this little side thing. I love this table. I wonder what this is called. This is a special artist table with a little thing for water, I would assume. And then he would paint. He would have, he'd use a long brush, and then he'd have something to hold up his. He rested on the. You've seen artists do that. Rest their hand on this pole so he could hold his hand up and paint for long periods of time. Keep his hand steady. And somebody's coming in the door. Of course, it's a lot longer than that, a lot bigger than that, but you know me and proportions, and don't always get them right. I love this little table, this white table. And then this, I read about this bucket. I don't remember what I read, but I think he used to empty his pipe. He was a pipe smoker. He'd empty his pipe tobacco into it. I love these details. So he was painting his civil rights paintings when I was growing up in Washington, D.C., and I wasn't as familiar with his civil rights paintings until later. I'm not sure why that is, but they're quite powerful. He did a famous one, I'm sure many of you have seen, about Ruby Bridges, called The Problem We All Live With, which I think that painting was in the White House for a period of months when Obama was president. And when Ruby Bridges came to visit him. Apparently he used to take naps on that bench over there. Oops. Sometimes this app decides to change it to the eraser without letting me know it's doing that. I'm not going to put the painting in there. I love this easel. Let's see what time it is. This chair, let's put some color in this chair. The chair is sort of a warm brown. I wonder what Norman Rockwell would think of the iPad drawings. His approach to his work I can relate to, in that it's about all our common humanity, and that we all go through many of the similar things in life, and some of those things are fleeting, and I want to use this color. And he tried to capture that with humor sometimes. So this, if I had more time, I might put more nuance in this, or if I was using watercolor, I'd make it more nuanced color, because it's really not a straight, obviously not a straight, solid color. Oops. But Norman Rockwell started drawing when he was really young, and he just, it was what he was a prodigy. He was drawing, I forget when he first sold his first work, but I don't think I can match that, the color of this. Let's try this bucket. These are very beautiful colors and very hard to capture. Norman Rockwell loved to draw people, and some of his drawings look like cartoons to me, in that he expressions on people's faces. That he just was all about sharing our common experiences. Let's see, I'll try to get this. I have to stop pretty soon. Go to the Zoom. But I'm just so honored to be here. And think about his work and what he tried to do with his work in his lifetime. People loved his work. They really related to it. And he was not particularly loved by some art critics, but he learned to live with that, and that was what was going on with illustration and painting at the time. And I was, having gone to art, studied art in art school, I understand what that's all about. But he really, his Saturday Evening Post covers were, I don't really like this. Oops, nope. Were so beautiful and so relatable, and people could really connect with. His work was about communication, about talking to people, about showing people what life was and what he thought life was all about, and how we can enjoy it and share in our common humanity. Put some paint colors on there. That's a little too garish. All right, I'm going to stop there. I can finish it later, or not. Let's see what you guys are saying. It's kind of, I've been looking forward to this day for a month, ever since the Norman Rockwell Museum suggested that we do this, and I'm just so happy to be here. Bolero says, so great that you get to draw in Norman Rockwell's studio. Chris said, could not ask for more in a studio. Yep, instant inspiration. Yeah, and he, one studio he had before this one was in town and in Stockbridge, and like had a huge window. You look out on the town and see the people, which also would be inspiration for me. Hi, Michael Maslin, my husband. Hi, Brian. I said hi to you already. Let's see who else is here. Roger Rains, just saw your show there last Thursday. Great, wonderful. Thank you for being there. Hope you enjoyed it. It's going to be up until September 27th, and it's also online as well. I'm looking at your comments. Hello, Adams. Hi, Laura. Kathy. Hi, Martha. Kieran, hello. This is fantastic, Kieran says. Kieran from Dublin. I recommend checking out a wonderful book called Norman Rockwell Behind the Camera. Oh, I haven't seen that one. Okay. How he used photography and locals to create his amazing art. Yes, he used models in his early part of his career, and then he would continue to use models, but he also supplemented with photographs. There's Stephanie. Hi, Stephanie.
Hi, Liza.
Stephanie's the chief curator here, Stephanie Plunkett, and she's the one that curated my show. So, thank you, Stephanie. You did a beautiful job.
Thank you, Liza. It's been such an honor to work with you.
Well, thanks.
Absolutely amazing. How's it feeling to be here working in Norman Rockwell's studio?
Oh, I don't know. It's inhibiting, it's exhilarating, it's exciting, and I mean, he seemed to be such a kind man. I feel welcome here, and you guys are making me feel welcome too.
That's wonderful.
So.
Yes, he was a kind man. And I think his studios were very special to him. He actually had about 21 studios.
Wow.
As we understand it, throughout his life. And the studio that we're in is the last. So it was the studio that he worked in for the longest time. 21 years.
Oh, really? Okay. He was born in New York City too, right? On the Upper West Side, which warms my heart because I love the Upper West Side. So I'm going to sign off on Instagram right now, and we're going to move over to Zoom, or we already are on Zoom. So if you guys want to continue hearing us talk about art and Norman Rockwell, Stephanie will talk a lot about Rockwell and being here, then join us on Zoom. Go to nrm.org. So hi, Kelly. Hi, Carl Stevens. Thanks, guys. So let me turn you around and say goodbye. Good to see you. Thanks for being here, and it's just amazing. You should come up to Stockbridge and see the studio sometime. Take care, everybody. Wear your masks. Bye.